We're counting down the 20 biggest regrets in women's golf history, a ranking of the moments that still haunt the sport, from baffling rule changes and overlooked facilities to personal collapses and systemic failures. Across these stories, you'll see how golf's finest were let down by bureaucracy, tangled in controversy, or undone by golf's relentless pressure at just the wrong time. Which regret stings the most, and how many could have been prevented? Let's begin at number 20 with a dress code decision that sparked outrage around the world. In 2017, the lpga issued a dress code banning plunging necklines, leggings as pants, and short skirts, all under the banner of maintaining professional standards. The timing couldn't have been worse. While the tour was chasing younger fans, executives doubled down on image control, not substance. Players across continents spoke out, calling the policy outdated and hypocritical, especially since the men's tour had no such rules. Instead of addressing pay gaps or tournament experience, leadership put energy into policing what women wore. The backlash was swift and loud. By the next season, the dress code was quietly softened, but the message had already landed. Image mattered more than progress. Players arrived at Lake Nona's Tournament of Champions expecting the amenities of a world-class venue. Instead, they found no dedicated locker rooms, forced to change in parking lots or open bathrooms, with their bags piled wherever space could be found. Tournament organizers had months to prepare, yet only scrambled to deliver temporary lockers after social media complaints midweek. Even then, the solution meant sharing space with VIP guests, not real privacy. The LPGA commissioner didn't learn of the problem until Tuesday, underscoring how easily women's events become an afterthought. For the athletes, the message was clear. Comfort and dignity were negotiable. Infrastructure a privilege, not a right. At the 2020 ANA Inspiration, a sponsors wall loomed just behind the 18th green, transforming the way the closing hole played. What was meant as a backdrop for TV cameras became a safety net for errant approach shots, stopping balls that would have rolled into disaster. Players and fans immediately questioned whether sponsor branding was allowed to shape the outcome of a major. When the playoff unfolded, the wall's presence altered decisions and outcomes in real time. The following year, the wall was gone, an unspoken admission that commercial interests had crossed a line. For many, the integrity of that championship remains in doubt. Amy Olsen stood over her putt at the 2019 LPGA event, her ball left unmarked just inches from the hole. Aria Jutanugarn played next. Olsen's ball could have acted as a backstop if Jutanugarn's shot had gone long. Nothing in the rulebook required Olsen to mark, but the move sparked a firestorm. Players and fans questioned whether the letter of the law had trumped the spirit of fair competition. Even though both were cleared of wrongdoing, trust among peers took a hit. The LPGA offered no clear guideline, leaving the sport to wrestle with an ethical gray area that lingers to this day. Leanne Walker played the 2019 Senior LPGA Championship, unaware that a new rule barred caddies from standing behind players to help with alignment once they began taking a stance. Hole after hole, Walker's caddy lined her up as she always had. By the time officials realized the mistake, the violations had piled up, resulting in a record 58 penalty strokes, the most ever assessed in a professional golf event. Walker's ordeal became a running joke in golf circles, but the real story was how the system failed to educate players about sweeping rule changes. No warning, no intervention, just a harsh lesson in how rulebooks can blindside even seasoned pros. Lydia Ko, one of the sharpest minds in women's golf, found herself caught in a web of rules confusion at the 2023 Dana Open. After an incorrect drop, her attempts to fix the mistake only made things worse. Each correction triggered another violation, piling up to 7 penalty strokes by the end of a round. The course's ambiguous signage and unclear markings didn't help. Momentum vanished, and her tournament unraveled in a matter of holes. Even for a former world number 1, the complexity of modern rules proved overwhelming, a reminder that no amount of expertise can always outmaneuver golf's bureaucracy. In the 2016 U.S. Women's Open playoff, Anna Nordqvist unknowingly brushed a few grains of sand in a fairway bunker. No one on the course saw it. Not officials, not her opponent Brittany Lang, not even Nordqvist herself. Only after Fox Sports' slow-motion replay caught the microscopic infraction did the USGA intervene. The penalty, 2 strokes, was announced after both players had already played crucial shots on the 18th hole. Lang adjusted her strategy, and the championship swung on a moment invisible to the naked eye. The fallout forced golf's governing bodies to rewrite the rules. From 2017 on, penalties would only apply if a violation could reasonably be seen without high-definition technology. The debate lingers. Should a major title hinge on what only a camera can see? Nelly Korda stood on the green at the 2021 Solheim Cup, her ball hanging on the lip after a short putt. European players signaled they had conceded, but the ball finally toppled in on its own. Confusion broke out. Was the putt good by concession, or did it fall within the allowed time? Officials huddled, ultimately ruling in favor of the US team. Instead of a celebration, the moment became a flashpoint for debates about match play etiquette and the clarity of concessions. Fans and players argued over intent and protocol, and a showcase event was left wrestling with questions of trust and sportsmanship. Suzann Pettersen's decision at the 2015 Solheim Cup became one of golf's most debated moments. Allison Lee, thinking her short putt had been conceded, picked up her ball, only for Pettersen to insist no concession was given. The officials sided with Europe, awarding them the hole and fueling a storm of criticism. Pettersen faced fierce backlash from fans, players, and media, with many questioning whether a technical win was worth the reputational cost. She later issued a public apology and chose to skip the 2017 Solheim Cup, admitting, "I personally would never want to win any match that way again." Nelly Korda, the world's top-ranked player, stepped to the tee at Lancaster's par 3 12th, locked in a battle with the course and her own nerves. A 25-minute wait and swirling wind set the stage for disaster. Her tee shot splashed into the water. The next, same fate. After a third attempt, she found the bunker, only to watch her ball plug under a leaf, leading to another miscue. By the time she tapped in, she'd recorded a 10, 7 over par, on a single hole. Her major streak snapped. Her championship hopes vanished. Even the best are never safe from golf's hardest lessons. Lexi Thompson reached the back 9 at Olympic Club with a 2-shot lead and a major title within sight. The pressure mounted with each hole. A string of bogeys, missed greens, tentative putts, and a chip that ran too far opened the door for Yuka Saso, who clawed her way back to force a playoff. Thompson's best chance at a breakthrough slipped away in the final stretch. The loss added another chapter to her history of near misses in majors, leaving her with the weight of another almost. For Thompson, the heartbreak wasn't just about one round, but about a pattern she couldn't seem to escape. Mia Hammond, a 16-year-old amateur invited to the 2024 Mizuho Americas Open, watched her LPGA dream end at the scoring table. After her first round, Hammond discovered she had signed for a lower score than she actually made. An honest mistake, but one that left officials with no choice. Rule 3.3b is absolute. Sign for a lower score, and you are disqualified. Hammond herself reported the error, showing integrity beyond her years, but the outcome was the same. One small clerical slip erased a rare opportunity on a global stage. The rule's severity, meant to protect the game's integrity, instead punished a teenager's moment of inattention. Heather Angel, a teaching pro who earned her spot at the 2005 KPMG Women's PGA through a top 5 finish in the LPGA Professionals National Championship, saw her major dreams vanish at the scoring table. After grinding through a tough round at Fields Ranch East, Angel signed for a 5 on the 16th hole, when she'd actually made 6. The error, flagged by ShotLink after the fact, left officials no choice but to disqualify her under Rule 3.3b. For Angel, years of work and a rare chance on golf's biggest stage were wiped out by a single clerical slip, one that a digital cross-check could have easily prevented. Sofia Popov arrived at the 2020 AIG Women's Open ranked 304th in the world, a non-member with little status, and left as a major champion. But the fairy tale was cut short by the LPGA's own rulebook. Unlike other major winners, Popov received no multi-year tour exemption and missed out on automatic entries that could have transformed her career. The policy was changed the following season, an open admission that the system had failed her. But for Popov, the opportunity was already lost. She won the biggest prize in women's golf, only to watch bureaucracy decide she didn't fully belong. In 2005, Sofia Popov entered 3 LPGA events after being told she was eligible, only to have the tour later declare it a clerical mistake. Her results were wiped from the official record, CME points erased, and her priority status dropped by nearly 100 spots. The LPGA issued a formal apology, but the damage was done. Popov had asked for clarification and still got burned. Prize money stayed in her account, but the official stats and future opportunities vanished. For alternates who missed starts, a single extra slot at Shanghai was cold comfort. Trust in the system took another hit. How many times can one player be let down by the same organization? Lynn Grant's breakthrough season stalled before it could begin. In 2022 and 2023, the Swedish star was blocked from entering the United States by COVID-era vaccination rules, despite repeated waiver attempts from her team and the LPGA. While her peers chased major titles and world ranking points, Grant watched from Europe, missing as many as 20 LPGA starts, including multiple majors and high-purse events. The estimated cost, over $500,000 in lost earnings, not to mention a year's worth of momentum during her prime. No injury, no loss of form, just a border she couldn't cross, and a lesson that even the game's brightest talents are powerless against shifting national policies. For Grant, it wasn't a swing or a putt that changed her career, but a rule written far from any fairway. Carlotta Ciganda walked off the 18th green at the 2023 Evian Championship, refusing to accept a slow play penalty assessed on her closing holes. Instead of signing her scorecard with the added stroke, she left it blank, making her disqualification automatic. Players and fans rallied around her frustration. Slow play rules had been enforced unevenly all season, and Siganda's warning came at a crucial moment in a major. The decision to protest cost her a spot on the leaderboard and a chance at one of the game's biggest titles. For all the solidarity from her peers, nothing changed that week. The LPGA's pace of play crisis continued, and Siganda's stand became a lasting question. Was sacrificing a major opportunity the only way left to demand fairness, or did her protest simply vanish into the system she hoped to challenge? The 2017 U.S. Women's Open arrived at Trump National Golf Club in Bedminster under a political spotlight few players had bargained for. The USGA had awarded the championship to the course years earlier, before Donald Trump's election. But by the time the world's best teed off, he was president, and the tournament was engulfed in controversy. Instead of focusing on their game, athletes faced a barrage of questions about their views on politics, immigration, and the meaning of playing a major at a sitting president's property. Headlines and press conferences revolved around the venue's political ties, not the competition itself. For many players, it felt like their moment was hijacked. Golf became secondary to spectacle. Privately, several top contenders admitted the distraction left them uneasy, their achievements overshadowed by a debate far beyond their control. A major meant to celebrate women's golf, instead, became a case study in how external forces can diminish the stage, leaving a legacy of regret that lingers long after the final putt. 5-hour rounds became the norm on the LPGA Tour, with average times ballooning to 5 hours and 17 minutes before 2025. Fans tuned out, sponsors threatened to walk, and broadcasters openly complained about delays. Players like Charlie Hull, Nelly Korda, and Lexi Thompson took to social media, calling out the endless waiting and glacial pace. The tour's leadership stalled for years, insisting the problem was overblown, until ratings slipped and public pressure reached a breaking point. In 2025, a new pace of play policy finally dropped average rounds to 4 hours and 34 minutes. The sudden improvement proved what players and viewers had said all along. The crisis was never about golf's nature, but a refusal to enforce the rules. For a decade, the LPGA let its product and its athletes suffer needlessly. Jongan Lee 6 arrived at the final round of the 21 Evian Championship with a 7-shot lead, a margin that should have felt untouchable. The morning air buzzed with expectation. No woman had ever lost a major from so far ahead. For Lee 6, the pressure set in almost immediately. After an opening bogey, her caddy tried to steady her nerves, but the tension was visible in her swing and in their whispered exchanges. Each missed putt chipped away at her confidence. On the back nine, the fairways narrowed, and Lee 6's lead shrank hole by hole. Minjee Lee, playing ahead, posted birdies and closed the gap with relentless precision. Lee 6's team, hoping to shield her from mounting pressure, stopped giving leaderboard updates, a move that left her playing in a kind of anxious fog. By the 18th, the lead was gone. A closing par forced a playoff, but the momentum had already shifted. In the playoff, Lee 6's approach shots lacked their earlier crispness, and Minjee Lee seized her moment, claiming the major in front of a stunned gallery. As the final putt dropped, Lee 6 stood motionless, her face a portrait of disbelief. In post-round interviews, her voice trembled as she searched for words. Tears came quickly, and she admitted to feeling lost, her mind replaying every missed chance, every tentative swing. The collapse became the largest lost lead in women's major history. In the weeks that followed, Lee 6's performances dipped. Commentators speculated about her confidence, and questions swirled about whether her support system could have done more. For Lee 6, the regret was raw and personal, having a major in her grasp, only to watch it slip away, not through a single mistake, but through a slow unraveling under the weight of expectation. The pain of that Sunday at Evian lingers, a reminder of how golf's greatest heartbreaks are often invisible until they're complete. From the LPGA's 2017 dress code crackdown to Jong-un Lee 6's historic 7-shot collapse at the Evian, this countdown has traced the 20 biggest regrets in women's golf history, a journey from avoidable missteps to moments of pure heartbreak. Across all entries, a clear pattern emerges. The most damaging regrets often weren't just personal errors, but failures of the systems meant to support athletes. Bureaucratic blunders, inconsistent rule enforcement, and institutional neglect, like the decade-long slow play crisis and repeated administrative errors, appear again and again, often costing players far more than a lost trophy. Yet, even the most shocking individual collapses, like Lexi Thompson's back nine unraveling or Nelly Korda's disastrous 10, are inseparable from the pressures and structures that define the sport. At every level, these regrets reveal how easily women's golf can be undermined when support systems falter or accountability lapses. The real lesson: in golf, as in life, the greatest heartbreaks are rarely just bad luck. They're warning signs that the game, and those who run it, must do better.